Hi babies, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is called 15% of Americans unknowingly experience a stranger looking through their window for an hour or more. They should have never left me alone. Or maybe I shouldn't have let them go. I have no idea. I just wish I'd known how often strangers watch us in our homes. This weekend was difficult enough. I was taking a significant other to a family reunion for the first time ever, shifting whispered rumors of my lesbianism into flesh and blood fact. Things started. Okay. Before everything went to shit, we're renting a beach house. My aunt and her teenage daughters took one bedroom, while my mom shared a room with Lynn and me. A raised loft within the bedroom gave us a modicum of privacy at least. That's where everything started. My need to go daily runs, even on vacation, is one of the many reasons that my family thinks I'm so strange. But Lynn was getting along pretty well with everyone else, so she told me to go ahead and meet them in the waves when I was done. Running relaxes me. As I did quick 5 miles, I finally began to feel that things might work out. The inner tension that lurked inside me for a lifetime was finally being addressed. Not released, but addressed. The thought of spending time with my girlfriend and my family, like I was normal, caused me to tear up just a little. Once I finished, I raced back up to the loft to change into my swimsuit. That's when he walked into the house. Noticed that there weren't any men on the weekend's roster, but the raspy foreign breath combined with the heavy thud of his boots on the wooden floor made clear that it was a male walking down the hallway. Headed to my bedroom, which only had one door. That door he opened. His breathing was labored. I was sure that my heart was beating loud enough to give away my position, but I did my best to hide. I curled into the farthest corner of the loft and tried not to breathe. Step, step, step. He paced back and forth in the room beneath me, traversing the same path of floor. I wasn't close enough to see him even if my eyes weren't winched shut. But the sound of his movements painted a picture clear enough to illuminate every action. He sat down heavily on my mom's bed and exhaled a long, rattling sigh. Then he spoke. Allison. I'm Allison, by the way. Neither of us moved. My heart had nearly stopped by the time he stood up again. The man resumed his pacing back and forth across the floorboards below. Then he approached the wall. He tapped on it, and then the footsteps continued up the wall. I hyperventilated as the heavy thud of the boots worked its way impossibly toward the ceiling. Nothing made sense. The only clear fact was that I needed to leave, but the only exit from the loft was a nearby ladder. There was no way that I'll be able to scurry down in time. So I waited. The footsteps approaching the ceiling, and then they tapped against the underside of the loft. I was still too terrified to move, but the footsteps were getting closer. The wooden floor vibrated with each footfall until the man was standing upside down right underneath me. I was crying silently but uncontrollably as he stopped directly below where I sat, separated from me by just a few wooden planks. I risked opening my eyes. It was a bad decision. Grimy fingers curled around the edge of the loft, wiggling excitedly as they propped closer to me. I closed my eyes tighter than before. Then he laughed. It was guttural, wheezy, and unkind. That's when the man walked back across the ceiling, down the wall, and out the bathroom door. My survival instincts were torn between never move again and run away forever. The latter one. and since I hadn't changed from my running shoes or clothes, it seemed like a viable option. My body was shaking badly enough that I nearly fell off the ladder, but I made it down in one piece. Part of me was hoping that I had imagined it all, that I really was crazy as everyone had assumed, and that I would be free to believe them instead of having faith in the horrifying reality of my own senses. All such silly hope was shattered when I saw the footprints. Several sets traversed the floor, leaving muddy stains in their wake. One set led up the wall. It crossed the ceiling, then turned around and headed back to the floor. Hanging from the ceiling was an envelope with Allison written on it. No, I had no interest in whatever that message read. I ran outside into the sunshine, down the short path toward the beach. I stopped when I found myself alone on the sand. Panicked, I ran up and down the beach in search of my family. When that proved fruitless, I ran back towards the house. Terrified, I searched every horrible corner of the place, even the rooms with footprints in them. I found nothing. Crying audibly, I dialed 911. There was no service. I went back to the bedroom. The note was still hanging from the ceiling. Slowly, I climbed onto my mom's bed, reached out, and plucked it from the string that was holding it in place. My hands were nearly trembling too bad to read it. It said, "I have loved watching them sleep. Now I have them for my own."